All right, so we're ready to go. Cool. So I wanted to go over some things I picked up today, Wednesday's Houston Chronicle, and I wanted to show you something, some of our docs that we have in the Houston area. So if you take a look at the front page, this blow-in, what's called a blow-in first page killer, and that. That's a doc doing regenerative medicine here in the Houston area that we have equipment with. And back page, full page, is another doctor that has our equipment as well. So if you want to dominate your market like this, make sure you're investing in equipment that can get you there. All right, so both of these doctors are actually killing it. Now, they are regenerative medicine doctors, but I think this is still strong. But it is absolutely amazing. So that's what some of these doctors are doing with our equipment. It's pretty cool stuff. So now let's get started in our case study. So I had Dr. Limbo. He actually gave me a case study earlier this week, specifically asked what he would do, what we would do for this patient. 78-year-old female who had a lumbar fusion L4-5S1 in May 16, 2017. Okay, so May, she had L4-5S1 fusion, posterior P-lift, posterior disputation. The reason why she got that was decades of back pain, but bilateral radiculopathy, neurogenic claudication, severe stenosis, L4-5S1. Now he asked me specifically, what would I do for that patient? So I said, number one, how tall is he? And he said about 5'7". So I'm going to start that patient off on protocol B. I'm going to use B because I want a very gentle, gradual movement. All right. And I'm probably going to start off at 2.5 inches. All right. I want it to move very, very slow. Now, at 4 visits, I'm going to do a reassessment. I want to progress her. I want to take her to the next level, right? So if it's clinically appropriate after visit 4, I'm going to put her at C, and I'm going to increase to 3 inches, right? Now, my whole goal is to get her into lateral movement. She's got a fusion at L4-5S1. That means that she's lost a lot of motion in the spine, okay? Well upwards of 30%. Lumbar spine, thoracic spine, cervical spine are critical movers of cerebrospinal fluid. 90+% of the nutrition of the brain is actually stimulated through the CSF pump. If you lose 30% of that because of osteoarthritis, stenosis, and or a physical fusion with hardware, we want to be putting that pump back in place, back on track is an absolute positive for that patient. So guess what I'm going to do after this 8 visit mark? Yep, I'm going to change protocol, or I'm going to add something. All right, so at this point in time, I might take her to protocol O. O takes her out static, holds her there, but sweeps left and right. There's no stop in the middle, it sweeps, holds for 10 to 15 seconds, and then to the right for 10 to 15 seconds. O is a 20-degree movement, and I would probably change it to 3.5 inches. Okay, that's critical. I want to constantly be changing what this patient is doing. So this is going to put me visit 12 when I do another reassessment. All right. So if it's appropriate, I'm going to take her to protocol U. This is bilateral movement. 20 degrees. I'm going to start probably at 4 inches if it's appropriate. All right. Now, once I get her moving bilaterally, either in O or U, I might keep her there, and I may just add inches to her protocol every 4 visits, if it's appropriate. That critical key is actually what allows us to progress. And what you'll find is when you do this, so in my typical scenario, I see a patient 4 times. On the 3rd visit, actually, for me, I'd do a reassessment. so that on the fourth visit, they're changing the protocol. That's just how I did it. So, Mrs. Smith, looks like you're doing really good. Your pain levels dropped from an 8 to a 6. You got a lot better movement, especially when you get up off the table. So this next visit, I'm going to change your back on track protocol from protocol B to protocol C. What that does is it moves a little faster. Right now you're at 2.5 inches. On your next visit, we're going to take you out to 3 inches. So you're going to feel a little bit more. Okay, so you may be a little bit sore. That's okay. Let me know if anything like that happens. And off I go. All right, so real simple table side talk. This is what we're going to do. And when you progress your patients along that fashion, they look forward to seeing what's happening. Okay, they want to know that they're improving. All right, because what you'll start getting is if you just put them on protocol O, 3.5 inches for 24 or 36 visits, and you never change anything, the patient starts wondering, is this, because it'll stop feeling like it's doing stuff. That's a good thing. But for them, they need to feel like something is happening and change. So that's why I like the progression protocol. All right, very critical. Now, one of the things about the back on track that I started looking at from a functional neurological standpoint, and something that Dr. Barlow reminded me of, is that it is a multimodal stimulation. What does that mean? It means we are using traction. So we're going to traction using axial traction, right? There's vibration. There's another mode of neural stimulation because we are a sensory-based system, right? We use sensation to find out where we go. I don't get to that wall and my brain goes, how do we get here? No, my brain goes, I need to get to that wall. This is how I get there, through stimulatory process. And that's what makes multimodal so impactful. You got traction, that's axial, vibration. You have lateral traction. Okay, and movement. That is what's absolutely critical. And you've got a 10 to 15 second delay between movements. So in protocol O, right, it goes out, let's say protocol O, 3.5 inches. It's going to traction out statically to 3.5 inches. When it gets 3.5 inches, it's going to, if you've got a 10-minute protocol, it's going to hold that for 10 seconds. And then it's going to move all the way left, 20 degrees. Once it gets left 20 degrees, it's going to hold that for 10 seconds. Then it's going to sweep all the way through the 20 degrees, back through another 20 degrees. It's going to hold that for 10 seconds. Why is that so powerful? Okay, because there's a very specific reflex called Hoffman's reflex that's in the cerebellum, that if you stretch or lengthen ligament, muscle, or tendon for 10 seconds or more, you get a relaxation and you get more. So if I were to simply bend over, stretch my hands, hold that for 10 seconds, at the end of that 10 seconds, neurologically, I could actually stretch further. That's where PNF stretches come from. All right. So we're doing this in a 10 to 15 section. It's not a section, it's a second. Okay, depending on how much time. If you've got a 15-minute protocol, that duty cycle holds that for 15 seconds. All right, that's why I minimally recommend a 10-minute protocol, because from a neurological standpoint, when you hold that position for 10 seconds, the body says, we can move better. Okay, now there's a whole nother set of neurological events that we need to talk about. Okay, and that's where we're going to go. So that same process is stimulating two specific mechanisms. All right, we've got the Golgi tendon. Do that. We've got Golgi tendon. All right, Golgi tendon is what lengthens muscles, and then we have muscle spindle. So these are critical, 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 critical. You can't see that bar right there. Right. So we got muscle spindle. Muscle spindle. What happens when you stimulate muscle spindle? Anyone? It strengthens. Okay, we get strengthening or contraction. The other one is Golgi tendon. Your Golgi tendon organ is you stimulate Golgi tendon, your GTO, and it lengthens or stretches. Okay? I can't write today. So those are the two mechanisms. From a neurological standpoint, we want to activate muscle spindles and Golgi tendons. How do you do that? Okay? You can do it through an adjustment. You can do it through myofascial release, something like Trigenics. Trigenics is fantastic with this. Okay? But notice those are all hands-on techniques. Okay, so how do we do it automatically with the vacuum track? That's what's so critical about this. Okay, so I've got several muscles lined up over here. Okay, and different. So I want to show you what it is we do. These are the muscle sets that we can explain very simply that stimulating muscle spindle and Golgi tendon. Now, when you use a body entrapment system like the DRX 9000, the Chattanooga Triton, all the ones that I look, they're great systems, okay? But when you entrap the body and then you stretch it, you are mainly stimulating muscle spindle, mainly, okay? When you entrap and then stretch, you are pulling on, you're mainly activating muscle spindles, which means that you get muscle guarding, you get contraction, which inherently means you have to pull longer and harder, okay? So I looked really hard at CBT, chirobiophysics, right? Did a roll, the whole gig, the vast majority of what that work has done is in static traction. Okay? Static traction with body entrapment. That means that they have a 20 or 30-minute pull session because they have to exhaust the muscle spindle. They have to exhaust the muscle belly to get to where they would need to go. Okay? If anybody has any questions, please in the chat section, and we'll get to them as we need to or as appropriate. So that's why static, number one, is not very comfortable. Number two, you have to pull longer and harder. Right? It's the reason why what I'm about to go through is the reason why we can do a 10-minute protocol and get much better results. So the multifidi, if my memory serves me correctly, spinous process to ilium, spinous process to mammillary, just like this, okay? Now what happens is that is right multifidi, okay? The left erector spinae is the coupling musculature for this, and that is what we couple in rotation, okay? So if feet go left on the vacuum track, feet go left, we create a right rotation in the spine, which stretches right multifidi and left erector spinae. So when we stretch, we're activating muscle spindle, right? So feet go left, go back here, feet go left, we activate muscle spindles in the right multifidi. And left erector spinae. What did I just say? We activate muscle spindles in the right multifidi and left erector spinae. Okay, so we want to strengthen that musculature. We're strengthening it by asking it to stretch. Right? Now, what happens what activation occurs here? Right? So our coupled motion is left multifidi and right erector spinae. Okay, right erector spinae. So when we do that, when feet go left in this 20 degrees, like protocol U, we're going to activate Golgi tendon to lengthen the musculature. Believe this or not, I want you to understand this. You're going to stimulate. Sure, I got the right one. Right erector spinae. And left multifidi. Now what happens in a 10-minute protocol? In a 10-minute protocol, here, it's going to hold minimally for 10 seconds. That 10 seconds stimulates the Hoffman's reflex and allows that neurological pathway to actually reset. Feet move left, stimulate muscle spindle, right multifidi, left erector spinae, stimulate Golgi tendon by left multifidi, right erector spinae. Right? Now, here is the true master of pain in the low back. Does anybody know what that is? I'm asking you, but you're not going to be able to answer. The true master of pain is the quadratus lumborum, right? So it's got attachments that run from transverse process to ilium and transverse process, inferior aspect of the 12th rib. That's right QL. Okay? Left QL is the exact same thing. Transverse process to ilium and to. Now, what happens is to lengthen, you're going to strengthen, right? So the right QL, when feet go left, the right QL, I'm about to get myself all mixed up, is going to stimulate muscle spindle. By the way, this is a trigenics move. If you know anything about trigenics, this is doing trigenics for you automatically. Right? So right QL gets stretched, which means we're stimulating muscle spindles. Left QL gets shortened, which means we're stimulating Golgi tendon. And that's how, in a 10-second protocol, you can actually neurologically create healing automatically. Because it's going to move out to the left 20 degrees, hold that for 10 seconds, and it's going to sweep it. Protocol U is going to sweep to the center, hold that. It's going to traction back, traction out, traction back 25%, move to the right. And those are 10-second intervals, right? So it's actually a 6-second movement, depending on how much time you got. But when it gets to the right 20 degrees, it's going to hold that for 10 seconds once it tractions out, okay? That is actually what allows us to reset that neurological mechanism, okay? This is also the reason why we want to be able to put a progressive protocol in place. If you start someone on protocol B, you are doing axial distraction. Now, one of the things that's great about axial distraction that I have not talked about, one of the most important instructions that you're going to deal with are two of them, actually, right? So there is the inner spinous ligaments, from spinous process to spinous process. There are the intertransversarii, which, by the way, all of these ligaments are loaded with type 2 mechanical receptors. They're loaded with it, right? So if you got somebody that has no lumbar curve, guess what's completely stretched out? The interspinous, right? If they got a tilt because they blew a disc out, that means that the intertransversarii are all jammed together. Now, the other mechanism in the spine that is absolutely chock full of type 2 mechanoreceptors is the facet joint. Okay? You can imagine we squeeze down when feet go left on the left side. That pinches down on that left disc and left facet joint, opens up, wedges right IVF and right right facet. Okay. That's critical. It's absolutely critical in what we're trying to achieve. We haven't even talked about what's happening in the disc, right? The disc is getting milked this entire time. When you can wedge one way and then the other, okay? If you know anything about McKenzie, now you're talking about disc derangement and actually being able to correct the disc derangement. Now, guys, I'm not bashing other systems, all right? I have a doctor, bless his heart. He's got a back on track and he's got a kidney system. And there were times in practice when I wanted a Cox table to be able to clean up some flexion distraction, okay? But this doc, it's horrible right leg pain. I had an obvious right lateral gravity at L4, okay? And he could not resolve his sciatica. With that doc, right? Well, guess who's over table bending all the time? He just couldn't get it resolved. And he was telling me, how do we use the back-on track? So I said, well, I went into my IK days and started doing some distance testing. And what it was telling me is that he needed to be in right lateral and extension. Well, guess what I can't do with the back-on track? I can't do right lateral with extension. I can do some drop techniques and things like that. So I put him on the KDT table in extension, feet to the right. Okay, as much extension as I could get, and pull it half his body weight for 15 minutes, and do that 3 times a day. We did that for 3 days. He cleared. Then we put him on the back-on track. We did a wedge. Okay, on the back-on track, he was still calling for feet right, which is contraindicated to what you take a look at in a disc that has gone right lateral, right? But that's what his disc, so it was a disc derangement. That's what his disc was calling for. So I wedged him with an SOT block at L4, and we did protocol K, if I'm correct. Feet right, protocol K, 2 times a day. Oh, excuse me. Protocol I. The protocol I, and then we did that for 5 days to get relief, and then we moved him into protocol U as fast as we could, and he got fantastic results. Okay, but we had to actually take care of that extension disc derangement, and it wanted feet right, which closes down the right IVF. It didn't make any sense, but that's what the disc wanted. So, and then we corrected him, and then as soon as we could get him into bilateral intermittent traction, we put him there. That starts healing and imbibing the disc with fluid. Right? So once you correct, so he had what I predict is that he had a very bad annular fiber tear. Okay, and then he had disc derangement. So he actually had basically that disc, and then the nucleus pulposus, right? So this is right. So this disc was doing this. Right? Something along those lines. That's why he responded to extension so well. So once we corrected this and that, we got him to about here, that's when that bilateral movement started making so much sense. All right, do we have a question?
None yet.
None yet. Just drop it in. Give me a question. Give me a question. Let me run through. Does everybody have a back-on track, or is anybody going to be purchasing a back-on track here in the near future? I'll run through some common things that we see. So I highly recommend that you not unplug, but turn off your back-on track during off-clinic hours. Okay, don't leave it on all weekend, please. If you have an electrical storm, you might knock it out. Now, you get an APC battery backup. Your back-on track should be plugged in, and the only thing plugged in to that battery backup. Right, on the battery side, there's 2 sides to that. There's the surge protection side, which is 2, all right? And then there's a battery backup, which I think is 4, right? It should be plugged in the battery backup. Now, you can turn off the battery backup. I don't recommend that, okay? I'd rather you turn off the back-on track, right? Because if you get an electrical storm and it zaps your building, it's gonna zap your back-on track, and it can eat that board up. It can. We rarely had it. We left our equipment on about 2 months ago, and guess what happened? It zapped both the knee-on track and the back-on track. Told them everybody was okay, it was blood shielded, but they got both our motherboards. So the other thing is, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you do the extended warranties. All right? If you don't have an extended warranty and something goes wrong, like an actuator, you're looking at about $500 for it to go out. All right? So the extended warranty is like $795. So you're covering yourself over and over and over again. Yes, we will take it into consideration what kind of customer you are, but I highly recommend you keep those things in stock. You keep that up to date, because if anything goes wrong, even if we have to come out and bring you a whole new board, 3 new actuators, everything, it's taken care of, okay? And we have flown JT and or Gene all over the country to repair back-on tracks if it's within warranty, okay? Any questions? Any questions about, do you have a back contract?
My Adam's no answers.
Say again?
No answers.
Oh, no answer. Okay.
132.
132. All right. So from a neurological standpoint, this is why. Now, I had a doc ask me, I think Dr. Simmons asked me on the Neon track if I would explain it on this level to a patient about what they need. No. I would not explain this. This is Dr. Todd. Basically, I would put up a normal x-ray, show them, hey, this is normal. See that nice gentle curve, nice square bones, big disc space, that's where the disc, and then that big tunnel. That tunnel is very, very important. That's where the nerve lives that comes out, feeds the muscles in the low back, and then all the way down into the leg. So that's what should be normal. Then you put up their x-ray. Their x-ray is smashed out, L5S1. You ask patient, Mrs. Smith, what do you see that's different? Well, that's not right. You're absolutely correct. That is getting smashed down. See how there's no space between the bones and the bones are really roughed up? See where this tunnel is supposed to be here, but it's not here? Yep, that's where that nerve's getting choked off. That's why you have lightning sensation going down your right leg all the way to your toes, burning numbness, tingling sensation. That's why you have no power in your quad. Right? That's a problem. You got to get that fixed. It's just that simple. All right. If you're doing value stacks, I like the words. Now, I didn't say back on track in my value stack. I used non-surgical pressure relief therapy. I'm going to use, if they've never seen the back on track, they have no idea what a back on track is. You say a back on track, they're going to go, what's a back on track? Right? Most patients know what a laser is, but the reality is I use that. So non-surgical pressure relief therapy that we're going to use to plump up that space, plump up the disc, open up the tunnel where that nerve lives, so we can shut your pain down as fast as possible. So Johnny, I've had many patients ask me if this is a decompression table. It's a good question. So, no, this is not a decompression table. Why? This table is FDA 510K exempt, all right? It's a class 1 medical device. It's registered with the FDA as powered exercise equipment, all right? It is not non-surgical spinal decompression, FT, at 510K, okay, paper. That is a class 2 medical device. Why not? Really, so I want everybody to truly understand that FDA's definition of decompression is distraction with the body in position. That's the FDA's definition, right? It's not my definition. It's not people who make decompression tables definition. That's the FDA's definition. Distraction with the body in position, okay? Is there a difference between traction and decompression? Yes. Number one, you have to use traction to create a decompression state. Okay. Decompression is a state that we are trying to achieve at the motion segment. Right? Other manufacturers will say decompression is the algorithmic wave that's applied and has sensory input so that you can actually feel the patient's tension up. So we resist the problems that we have with muscle spindle and muscle cardio. That's the sales pitch, okay? I've had those tables, but I can tell you this, I've been on those tables when I've sneezed, and there is no way that table can react fast enough to that 30 to 40% increase in internal pressure through the Valsalva to make sure I don't blow a disc if I cough or sneeze while I'm under distraction and strapped down. So in the reality, you have to use, it's a traction table. They're all traction tables. This uses traction to create decompression. DRX 9000, same thing. Lordex, same exact thing. Dr. Bourne be jumping up and down, screaming at me, or he said that. But it's the simplest truth, okay? Decompression is created by traction, okay? How you apply traction is completely up to you. The back on track does it through distance, okay? Chattanooga does it through poundage. The RX 9000 does it through poundage. they have a mechanism that actually can read how much poundage, and so it's got a load cell, right? And then it can supposedly back off. Well, it can, it does do that. It's all about how you apply distraction to the body in position to create a decompressed state. Now, in order to get a 510K classification, class 2, it's not cheap. It's rather expensive. But what it happens is it actually pinholes you, okay? So those pieces of equipment, guys, are designated for non-surgical spinal decompression. And if you are billing anything else other than S9090, you're kind of coming far from, okay? In a billing situation, right? Kind of, all right? So, I mean, if you're billing 97012 for your DRX 9000, naughty. That's not right, okay? And it's not designated as traction, right? And they have a 510. The 510K is a marketing, it gives you permission to market as non-surgical spinal decompression. That's what it is. That's the classification. This is what it does. The FDA says you are cleared to do this with it, right? Great thing about the back-on-track, knee-on-track, and the total brain and body O2s, they are all class 1 classifications and powered exercise equipment. That means, if you so choose, I don't recommend this. This is a cash cow, in my opinion. You can bill 97110, 97112, 97012, 97139. I mean, you have a whole litany of things that you can code this and bill to an insurance carrier, PI, PIP, legally, without committing fraud by accident, okay? That's what this classification does for us, okay? So it is not a decompression table, but it creates decompression of the motion segment and disc through body and distraction as a powered exercise equipment. Any questions? Any questions at all? That means I'm doing a really good job. So again, guys, this, if you want to know more about who can help you with this type of advertising, if this is what you're interested in, okay? These two clinics definitely have our knee-on-tracks. They're absolutely just helping people, saving lives, doing amazing things. If you want, contact me, send me an email, dr.white@backontrack.com. Anybody, just give me a call here at ErgoFlex, and I can get you in touch with that. Dr. Amy Barlow does this system. Dr. Amin Nia. There's a lot of guys using these people. Now, I'll be honest with you. When I bought my spinal aid franchise and I was doing decompression back in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, I approached the Chronicle to do this, all right? Almost this exact same thing. It would have been a $1.4 million run for one day because they would not split it up into zip codes for me. That is not what's happening here. They basically pick the zip codes for where they want. For us, it's Katy, Pearland, the Woodlands. So he's got like 7 zip codes that he's blowing this into. And that's what that actual, these guys have such clout, they buy so much marketing and advertising, that's what allows them to do that. So you definitely need to get into that.
Okay. What do you tell the patient in the value stack, again, about what the table does and what the table is?
What the table is. So, Mrs. Smith, I'm going to use non-surgical pressure relief therapy to plump up the disc space. Remember that space on your x-ray? Now point to the x-ray. Plump up the space so we can increase the space between the bones, open up the tunnel, and take the pressure off the nerve that's supposed to be living right here. That shuts down back pain, leg pain, numbness, tingling, all the way down into your toes, and helps turn on the power back into your legs so we get you out of pain quick and get you walking better so that you can take care of your grandson, Steven, on Thursday afternoons. All right. And I'm going to say that in all 3 phases in my value stack. Okay. I got my value stack was relief phase, stability phase, and strength phase. So I have this in a document. If anybody specifically wants it, I can help you out with that.
Shoot us your email, we'll send it to you.
Yeah. Dr. Larson, I sent that to you? He's got it. But no, that's perfect.
What about the online resource center?
Oh, the online resource center. Everybody here should have a link to the online resource center.
If you
Don't let us know. The wonderful and beautiful and talented Elizabeth and Mercedes have put this together for me. This, you see this big thing? Everything in here. This big binder, so that I don't have to go searching through a computer when I'm talking to you about what the online resource center is. It's got everything in it, okay? Basically, all your protocol lists. So all of this you can find on that online resource center, okay? The value stack that I just talked about should be up there, I believe. If you don't have that, contact Elizabeth. Okay, Elizabeth at backontrack.com, no K in the track. Elizabeth at backontrack.com, and she will get you set up with your online resource. It is constantly being upgraded. Okay, we have new content going on. The webinars are uploaded onto our website. If you have a problem, like an actuator goes out or something happens to your remote, there are instructions on actually how to repair that. Don't just go on there and start repairing it. Call us, get in touch specifically with JT or Gene, and they can help walk you through some of those things. But there are definitely how-to videos on what you can and can't do to be able to repair. Okay, some repairs require us our hands-on stuff. Some we can actually have you do if you feel comfortable doing. What else? Secrets. All right, guys. Look, a Back on Track and a Knee on Track, along with cash prizes, are going to be given away at Secrets to $1 Million Practice, September 27th and 28th. Okay. The evening of the 26th, from 4 to about 7, so that you can have plenty of time in, we're going to do an elite training module. Okay. You're going to have direct access to myself, doctors like Dr. Tony Doremus, hopefully Dr. Barlow, Dr. Nelson Batanzi, elite level training on upper echelon stuff, okay? I will do some basic training if that's what you need for the equipment, but I will definitely cover that on Friday as well. That elite training module is for the first 10 doctors who buy tickets. Right now it's $99, guys. I want you to understand this, okay? That gets you 13 continuing education hours in your state, if your state participates with PACE. We definitely have them for Texas and our surrounding states. So if you have any questions about that, shoot us an email or call us and we can let you know specifically which states are involved with PACE and that you can get. All right, so that means for $99, you get Secrets to $1 Million Practice, you get 13 continuing education hours, you get the elite training pod module with myself and at least 2 or 3 other high-level expert doctors, right, for $99. First 10, okay, September 27th, 28th. We're going to go over regenerative medicine, all of the Back on Track, Knee on Track, a lot of what we just talked about here, the Total Brain and Body O2, the new protocols and the new software system for the Total Brain and Body O2, and the new packaging system. You get a ton of material, plus you get the CDs. Now, after those first 10 go away, now it's going to move up to $149, and then if you want your CDs, it's going to be $109 over that. Okay, so $109 for continuing education. After the first 10, it goes to $149, and then that's good. We're going to have a certain period of time that's going to last a little bit for about a month, and then it'll go up to $199 and $249 and so on and so forth. Depends on who it is and how many docs we got coming in. Okay, seating's limited. We are going to see at least 50 to 75 docs at this event, so we don't have a tremendous amount of room. Now, when we give the Back on Track and Knee on Track away, when you come, just for buying a ticket, you get a ticket to win. Okay, if you bring us a doc that doesn't have our equipment, you doc get an extra equipment. You get an extra ticket. So Dr. Smith and Dr. Larson, if you bring us a doc and they come in, they purchase a ticket, you guys will get an extra ticket to win a Back on Track and a Knee on Track. Okay, the doc that you bring also gets a ticket for the Back on Track and the Knee on Track. All right, you got to be present to win. You can't just phone it in. You got to be here. Okay, I can't stress it enough, guys. This is early bird special. This is $99 to get you included CEs the elite training pod, everything else that goes along with that, those are going to get snatched up really, really quick. We got an advertisement coming out in chiropractic economics. I advise you to take action now. September 27th and 28th, the elite training pod will be on the 26th in the afternoon. We'll go out to dinner after that, and then JT and Linda are definitely going to have everybody over for wine tasting and even some whiskey if I get crazy. We'll go from there. All right, guys, any other questions? Oh,
FCA?
we're FCA, so all of our great individuals and docs in the Southeast, we're going to be at Florida Chiropractic Association 22nd, 23rd August. Is that correct? I just saw it. You took it down?
I took it down.
22nd, 23rd. Yeah, no. Yeah, 22nd through the 25th August, FCA National Convention, and then AFNI Level 2 is going to be August 22nd, 25th. AFNI Level 1 is going to be mid-July. Okay, so and then after that will be Trigenics. So don't miss out. Docs that Dr. Larson, I know for sure you're headed toward AFNI 1. I'm going to throw it out there. I threw you an email. I don't know if you responded. July 19th, 22nd is AFNI. Dr. Larson, I want you to be on the show. I want you to come in, talk to all the docs about your great experiences and especially what happened for you up there close to retirement. All right, guys. I'm Dr. Robbie Wyatt with ErgoFlex Technologies. Keep saving lives and keep doing what you do.